Hey guys, it is Atanessa with Enhance the Individual here today, and I am giving you this video talking about my 8-month dating hiatus. I have talked about this on Instagram. I even posted about it, and so we're here in this video to talk about the details, why I decided to do that, what I did, what the parameters were, and what I'm going to do moving forward. But before we even get into this video, make sure you guys follow me on Instagram, Enhance the Individual. That's really where I am, and you can follow me. You can check out my website at www.enhancetheindividual.com. You also can find me on Pinterest at Atanosa Joyceline. But to make myself a little less nervous talking to you guys about my dating hiatus, we're going to do a get ready with me. It really gives me something to do while I talk because I just get exasperated. You know, it's like public speaking, but like no one's here except for Hero, my dog. So let's jump into it. I'm already priming because I'm already a little bit anxious talking about it. Okay, so I have my handy dandy notebook here. Where are we gonna begin? Okay, let's start back in 2017 because I want to give you the procession of how I got to this point. So back in 2017, I just got out of a 4-year relationship and was heartbroken. That's where we're starting. I was heartbroken. It was my first relationship. So there was just a lot going on in my life kind of thing. And I just didn't know how to operate in that mindset. Like, he was very important and very heavily involved with my life. So it just felt like I was starting from scratch. So from 2017 to basically 2019, I was just, figure it out myself. I was learning about myself. I was doing reckless things, doing hood with my hood reference. No, I wasn't, but I was. I was very reckless in Kansas City. Just meeting people, just thinking like, oh yeah, like let's just have fun. And so I got into a mindset where I just really wanted to have fun. Once I got over being sad and everything, I just really wanted to have a good time. Like, I was just like, I'm free, I'm liberated, therefore, I'm gonna have a good time. I see all this stuff on social media, people doing it. Hot Girl Summer wasn't a thing yet. We were just having a good time. So I met people, did things, went out, like enjoyed being single. Like, I was really getting to a point where I was enjoying being single. I was living by myself at this time, so I was enjoying living by myself. And all these different things. And I just kind of got to a point where I was like, oh, I definitely don't want to be in a relationship. Like, I don't have any urge to do that. That was exhausting. Like, I realized that it was very exhausting to be in a relationship. Like, I gave myself to somebody and was neglecting myself, honestly. So I was just freelancing my lifestyle, and all of a sudden I found myself in my first relationship after the breakup. And it was cool, but it didn't last very long. It was like maybe 3 months. And then I broke up with him because we just had lifestyle differences and whatnot. So that was that. I wasn't gonna go back. He kind of stopped talking to me, whatever. Then I did my internship in Austin for like 2 months. I was there for like 9 weeks. And I was very still on Hot Girl Summer because Hot Girl Summer was coming out. And I was like, I'm in Austin, I don't live here, I'm gonna have a good time kind of thing. I was like starting to use the apps. Like, I was really hesitant about using the apps because I was just like, I would really like to meet my future partner a very organic way. And not saying anything's wrong with the apps, but that was just my mentality. So I was on the apps just looking for a good time. Went on a couple dates, which was really nice to like get dressed up again and just do stuff like that. Didn't really meet anyone that I thought was worthy. I don't want to say worthy. Wasn't interested in anyone. So went back to Kansas City, and while I was in Austin, somebody came back into my life, and that didn't last either. We started dating very quickly, so fast. And I just was I was in the same mentality of like, oh, I just really want to, like, as much as I'm having fun, I'm also thinking about, oh, I really want to meet my future my husband, and stuff like that. So I felt like I was giving just anybody a shot to fill that. Like, I was just like, I'm so tired of dating. Like, I was getting to a point where I was just already tired of dating. I hated getting to know somebody. What's your favorite color? What's da da da? Who cares? I mean, these are important things down the road, but for how many people I'm gonna do that for? I don't really care what your favorite color is, for real, for real. Anywho, so that happened. Again, lifestyle differences, just interests in life. Like, we just were not compatible. And have you met those people, like, maybe on paper they look great, maybe like in your head they're great kind of thing, but like the compatibility is just not there. Like, you can't put your finger on it. Like, you don't really know what it is. It's just, you're not compatible. So I let that one go. And then I started talking to this other person who was just way too old for me. Actually, everybody told me he was just too old for me. And I, guess what? Didn't want to believe it, because I'm stubborn. And that's just how I live my life. I said I live my life on my own terms. Don't tell me what to do. Like, that was me to a T, and it's still me, but I'm a little bit more logical. So we talked for a few months, and then I went down to go visit him, and that was a freaking disaster. And that one was, oh baby, that was the icing on the cake for what really excelled this dating hiatus. Because I was like, I am so tired of putting up with this BS, because it's just not making sense. Like, I'm honestly not doing anything. Like, it's just not working, and it's on these people. Like, I swear, like, I'm a very reflective person, and I'm not saying this because I think I'm the best thing since sliced bread, but I really wasn't doing anything in these relationships that I was like, I just don't like these people. I really just don't like these people, and I'm so tired of giving people a chance. Like, if you get the chance to be with me, just know that I'm really about to put 100% into this. Almost 100%. Like, I don't do it right away, but that is where we're getting with this. You guys, I've never done my eyes first. I was trying something new, and now I feel very lost and confused because my face is just very bare and my eyes are done. But anywho, so he was extremely exhausting, and it was just, I didn't even break up with him. I just removed myself out of the relationship because, like, he just stopped kind of talking to me for 3 weeks, like MIA. Like, I would call, text, no answer. He would just make empty promises. Ooh, babes, if you make an empty promises, it's over. I grew up with a father who made promises and followed through, so I don't know anything else but you to keep a promise. And when you start breaking promises, I'm gone. Like, I have checked all the way out. So he broke some promises, and I just said, You're not going to make me sad. You're not going to do that. I'm not even going to give you that power to do that. And so I said, Etanosa, you just got a new job in Austin where you wanted to be. You're going to start new. You have no idea what's in store for you. And this is a very exciting time to just let go and honestly let go. Because I felt like I was taking too much control of my life. Do you guys ever feel like that? Like, maybe, I don't know. I just felt like I was in the driver's seat. Like, I didn't want anyone else to drive it. And I was like, I know exactly what I want, and I know how to get it, and I know what to do, and this, that, and the other. And I think that honestly, that was the most detrimental mentality to have, to be honest. Like, if you're a spiritual person, if you believe in God, if you do all that stuff, like, for me, I was just like, I'm getting to a point where I think I run the show. I am in control. This is my show. And that was just horrible, to be honest. I'm going to say it flat out. That was really horrible. And I'm happy that I was convinced, or I convinced myself, that I was just going to take this dating hiatus. And I spew a lot of ideas around in my life because that's just who I am. I like to challenge myself. I'm a naturally competitive person, and I like to challenge myself. Sometimes I'll do 30-day challenges for working out or drinking water, or like this. I was like, I'm going on a 6-month dating hiatus. By the time I had convinced myself of this, it was January. So like I stopped dating the other guy in November, and then it was January. I was at home talking with friends kind of thing. You know, we're just kind of, you know, talking like girls do. And I just kind of had this epiphany that I was like, I'm going to go on a dating hiatus because nothing's working out. So I have nothing to lose. And I was like, let go, let God, let's see what happens. So let's get into this dating hiatus. That's where I was. So the parameters of my dating hiatus were that I wasn't going to be on any apps. No dating apps. Not even have a profile set up, nothing. Like there was no Bumble, there was no Tinder, there was no Hinge, there was no Plenty of Fish, there was no eHarmony, there was no Match.com, there was nothing. There was no way for me to, you know, connect with new people in a new city with the intentions of going out and dating. I also had to say, because I don't want to say that I'm alpha female, but if I like something and I want something, I kind of go for it. Like I just say like, why are we wasting time? And so I ditched that mentality and was like, you're not going to do that anymore. You're not going to pursue anyone. You're not going to initiate anything. Like you're going to sit down. You're going to sit down and you're going to sit back and take a back seat to everything. Literally everything. Like I was not, even if people showed interest, that's another thing. I was also the type of person, like if you showed interest, bare minimum interest, I was like, oh my gosh, potential is here. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, potential. That's also very dangerous to have, because potential can only take you so far, and then the rest. And people really be doing the bare minimum. They will give you the bare minimum and be like, oh my God, you are this, you are that, da 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 da. Don't get trapped. Do not get trapped with that. Anywho. So I said, I'm not pursuing anything. Like, I'm not gonna like go out of my way to tell someone like, I'm so sorry, like I'm on a dating hiatus. I wasn't gonna do any of that. I was just gonna exist, to be honest. Like I was really just gonna exist. I was going to create platonic friendships. That was something that really bothered me in my life, that like I just didn't have a lot of platonic, specifically male friendships. Like I just felt like anytime I had like a guy in my life, it was just like there's this like romantic undertone, which became very annoying, because you were just like, I really just want a perspective from a guy. Like I just want to be able to hang out and like have a good time without this like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get with you. And that was annoying. Like how do you tell those people like, I'm not trying to get with you? I mean, I guess you could just say, I'm not trying to get with you, we can be friends. But people don't like to hear that, or they just think us like, oh, let me give her more time and space. Nah, fam, I am not interested. So learning how to create those platonic friendships was high on my list of things for the dating hiatus. And then on top of that, like no hooking up, like no, nothing, no kissing, no, because I knew what my relationship with intimacy was like, and I didn't want to put that in the mix for anything. And another reason that I don't want to have any hookups was because I just didn't want to get numb to the hookup culture. I think there's a culture as us millennials, whatever you want to call us, Gen Zers, where it's just like, don't put meaning with it. But I really wanted to put meaning with it. I really wanted to be with somebody that I could have that meaning with. And I was just like, and I was just at a point where I was getting numb to that, and I hated it. Like, I just said, oh no, like I feel like I'm going to pass someone by, because it's just, this is the culture, this is what we do. But I wanted to put some importance on that, baby, because my body is a temple. My body is a temple. And I'm okay saying that, whatever. But I was like, I'm going to really miss doing those things, but it's okay. So moved to Austin, and was very hopeful. I was very hopeful about this dating hiatus. And then some of my thoughts going into the hiatus, I really thought that I was just going to, I don't know what I really thought going into it. I thought it was going to be really hard. I think sometimes I make challenges for myself, and don't necessarily believe that I'm actually gonna fulfill them. Like, I really was like, whatever. So you say these things all the time, and it's okay if you fail. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's like, and even if you don't go through it, it's okay if that's what you want to do. And I heard a lot about that, and I was just like, yeah, it is okay if I fail at this kind of thing. And the only person who's going to punish me, myself. I'm the only person who's going to be upset. And I just didn't want to let myself down. And so I would talk about it because I wanted to remind people that I was on this. And I think my friends are very accountable people. Like, they'd be like, girl, I thought you were on this. I thought you were on this dating hiatus. And that was a great reminder. Like, even though they were like half serious, I think they were more serious than not. They were just like, isn't this what you had said? And blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, ugh, yes, I understand. I'm on a dating hiatus. I get it. Dang. But that was super helpful going through this. Just having those accountability partners. Just say, girl, like, you need to grow. I mean, they didn't necessarily know everything that I was like personally just kind of battling, but they knew that, I mean, I was still talking about my first relationship. I was still talking about those other people that I dated. I was still having all these conversations, and it was like, I wasn't moving forward. Like, I just was at a standstill. Like, so I think maybe subconsciously they knew like I really needed to do this for myself, for my growth, especially if I aspired to one day, be somebody's wife. And so, yes. So what did I do during my dating hiatus? I spent a lot of time by myself. I mean, once I moved to Austin, I moved at the end of January. February came, March, COVID came and shut everything down. And I'm not gonna lie, Corona was probably the best thing that ever happened to me during this dating hiatus. It was like, God was like, oh, we're really gonna do this. Like, you're not meeting nobody. And so I just kind of stuck with that. Like, even though like I was by myself, I didn't really have too many friends here. I wasn't going to turn to the apps because I was lonely. Like, I was really diligent about that. I was like, there's no need. Like, those apps take up space anyway, and they make my phone crash. So I was like, that's fine. And so I became super intentional about just making friends, making girlfriends kind of thing, and using Bumble BFF to do that. And I really enjoyed Bumble BFF. I met a lot of women on there that I hang out with, and like, everyone is so nice in Austin. It's so great. Or the people that I met on Bumble have been so nice. I loved our Bumble dates kind of thing. I did a lot of reflection during my dating hiatus, just about some of the mistakes that I made, just taking accountability about the mistakes that I made. And I think that was a huge one for me. I don't know if I like these eyes. We'll figure it out. Because not that I wasn't taking accountability, but it was more so like taking ownership and accountability for my past actions. But then on top of that, like, forgiving myself. I think there was this thing I was putting over my head that like, I was just like, I just don't deserve for someone to be nice to me, and I don't deserve for someone to do these things because I was just a horrible person, or I did things that were just really not me in my last relationship, and I should pay the consequences of that. And so I just kind of beat myself over that. But I worked on that demon a lot, and just was like, you know what, I deserve the best. Like, I'm doing a lot of things to grow myself because that's who I am, and I deserve to be with somebody who matches that. I don't want to be with somebody who is not on a similar level than me. And so working through that was really great. And just realizing that there was a lot of, it's not even negative talk that I was doing. It was just like, I just didn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. I just thought I couldn't get out of it. And then getting to a point where I had to recognize that my first relationship was super meaningful to me. And him as a person meant a lot to me, but realizing that like I really needed to let go of that if I was going to allow a new type of feeling, a new type of love into my life. So that one probably took the longest because that's just hard to let a love go just to be like, okay, I'm finally letting this go. Like, that was a good chunk of my life, my adult life, being in that relationship. But anyway, so working through that and just forgiving, really forgiving, because I have learned that as much as I forgive, I really don't forget. Like, I forgive, and that harbors in my soul. Like, my soul still feels that. And so I really just harbor that, and it hurts me more than it hurts the person that I'm upset with. And so I had to work through that. Like, not only my first relationship was I harboring that anger, but there was also a friendship that was also harboring that anger. And it wasn't until the beginning of the year that I really was purposeful and was like, I am letting this go because it no longer serves me to sit in this mentality. It no longer brings joy for me to hold this, and it's inhibiting me from doing things that I love. It's inhibiting me from meeting people that I want to spend time with. It's really just taking away joy. Like, it's taking away space that joy could be filled with. And so I had to work through that, had conversations, and just kind of learned that, like, even though I might forgive, like truly forgive, that does not mean that those people need to be in my life. Because I think for a long time I was holding on to people because I don't really like losing people. I don't like goodbyes for real. Like, I kind of get real nonchalant when people want to say goodbye, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, fine. And like, deep down inside, I'm super sad. But so yeah, just realizing that, like, it's okay for people to come in and out of your life and not be there forever. Is it unfortunate? Hell yeah. I really don't like it. It's not fun. But I have to recognize, like, my mental peace is super uber important. So that's kind of what I did. What else did I do? Just enjoyed my life, to be honest. Like, I went out, I went to new places, I tried new things. Something that really pissed me off about this dating hiatus, because I told everybody and their mom, right? I was telling them about this dating hiatus and how it was right before I was moving, and someone said, and I think we need to change the narrative, they were like, why would you do that? Because dating is such a great way to explore a new city, because you'll go on multiple dates. Oh my God. That is very problematic. That is extremely problematic, because you're telling me that in order to move somewhere and as a single person, like, dating is the only way to get out and learn about the city and do things and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that sounds like a challenge. That sounds like a challenge. So that was also in the back of my mind, because I was like, why would you say something like that? Like, it's not every day that, like, I need to be with somebody or be getting to know somebody to learn about a new city. So that was in the back of my head, that I was just like, I'm gonna also keep up with this, because I've got to, that's not possible. Like, yes, dates are fun and you can choose these places and it might be fun getting to, but I was like, you can do that with other people. That's why people have friends, okay? That's why people have friends. So that was super annoying, to be honest. Like, to hear that coming from another woman, I was like, oh my gosh, we have an issue here. We really have an issue right here under our noses. So that's basically what I did. Spent some time with my dog. Hero was still really young, so we were training and doing that, and I was connecting, learning the system of work and where I fit in and how to do my job. So I was preoccupied. Like, I had shit to do, like, and whatever. But let's move on to the lessons that I learned during my 8-month dating hiatus, now that it's over. So one of the biggest things that I learned was I enjoy being by myself. I enjoy having my own space. I love not sharing my space. Like, even Hero is a lot to share the space with, to be honest. Like, honestly, there are days where I'm like, I don't know why people get dogs. This is a lot, like, but now he's a little bit more tame, which is great. So that was one of the best lessons that I learned. And then protecting my energy. I know for me, like that has been one of the biggest things. I'm also somebody who can get, naturally I'm a defensive person. Naturally, I just want to talk, and I just want to have say the last word. But I learned that what are my triggers are. So I learned how to protect my energy, created mechanisms to make sure that in any situation I'm able to control my emotions, protect my energy, and respond in a way that I want to respond, in a respectful way, because I never wanted people to assume like I was a hothead or something like that, because I'm not a hothead. I'm just a very emotional person, to be honest. So that was a thing. And then my next lesson that I learned, number two, I'm really not ready to be in a full-fledged relationship. Like, let me back up, because yes, like today, if someone was like, do you want to be in a relationship? I'd be like, yeah, I do. But I also know myself well enough to be like, well, because I think of it like this, as dating people with the intention of getting married, I need to work on myself. There are things that I need to do, that I believe I need to do and work on to be a better partner. And most of it is just becoming a better version of myself. It's nothing about like, oh, I have got to be more domestic or anything like that. Nah, it's none of that. It's just more so like, I need to learn how to be a little bit more patient. I am not a patient person. I'm really not. I'm more like, what's going on kind of thing. Or learning how to take things slow and just enjoying the journey of everything. I want the end product, and I want the end product today. And so working on things like that. The third lesson I learned, I guess this is number two, like just becoming the best version of myself. I really wanted to enhance myself in literally every single way. Like I wanted to just like take better care of me. And I think that goes into, that's lesson number 4, taking better care of myself. But we'll make it number 3. It's number 3. I just learned to take better care of myself and to be a little bit more intuitive and attentive to my own needs. Like I have been by myself for a while and nobody is in this apartment. And so I was able to just be like, take care of myself. Like I can do what I want, when I want, with who I want. But at this point I was doing nothing with nobody. So great. But it was just great. Just learning about what best fits my lifestyle, what my lifestyle is kind of thing, recognizing like, I may be a little bit bougie, but I'm at the same time, I'm just a goofy girl, embracing those quirks about myself and not trying to do anything that, feels pressured by society. Because there's a lot of pressure that comes from society to act a certain way, to do certain things, and it's very irritating. That's what I learned. It's very irritating. So just learning about those quirks about myself, taking better care of myself, just taking better care of like my life, like car stuff, grocery shopping, how to eat better, how to take care of myself, exercise, mental health wise, and stuff like that. So that brings us to lesson 4. And so I just really reflected on my relationship with intimacy. I don't think a lot of us talk about intimacy. Like we also don't talk about sex appeal and all those things, because we don't really learn about what type of intimacy we enjoy. We just kind of do it and call it a day, and we're like, that was so intimate. And people think intimacy is a very physical thing. And I had to also reflect on that physical part of intimacy and what that meant to me, what my relationship with that was, the experiences that I had, if they worked for me, if I could change things, how would I do that? How do I communicate my level of intimacy that I'm looking for, that I want kind of thing? How do I do all those things? And then even the non-physical ones, like what do I actually like? Like, do I like shoulder kisses? Do I like things like that, where you just don't necessarily think, it just happens and you're just kind of like, oh, this is what the person does, period. No. So I just reflected on that, research what intimacy, there's a lot of articles about intimacy out there. So do your research, y'all. And yeah, so I did that. And then the last lesson that I kind of learned, I'm never fast enough doing my makeup. I'm almost done, but I'm just talking. The biggest lesson that I learned, and this kind of goes back into what I was doing in my dating hiatus, was learning how to forgive. Like I mentioned before, I just had a bunch of just grudges against people for doing me wrong, because those people did me wrong. They did me wrong. And that's the thing. Those people did me wrong. And I just thought it was easier to kind of be mad at them and angry towards them than to have a conversation. Like, I wasn't even having a conversation with these people. I was just mad. I was just removing myself from relationships and stuff like that, because it was just, it's a lot easier to do that and remove yourself. And like, part of me, yes, I missed some of those people in my life, but I was willing to just kind of remove myself rather than have those hard conversations. I'm really not big about confrontation. Like, I'll do it if it's necessary, because it takes a lot for me to get upset. It takes a lot for me to get upset to the point where I want to confront you. And so I had to, learn that forgiving and forgetting is a big deal. Like, you can forgive, and I was forgiving for very selfish reasons. I was forgiving people because it released my responsibility in it. Like, everyone tells you, like, forgive people, blah, 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 blah. Like, even if you don't actually forgive them, just forgive. And that concept is not a good one to have. Like, to forgive someone is hard. It's really hard, because like, you really could not forget about it. Like, it can still be in your brain when you look at that person and you're just like, oh, remember this, remember that kind of thing. And that's what was happening. I was just remembering all those different things that those people did to me. And I was like, oh, but I forgave you, so it's fine. Like, we can be friends, we can be cordial, like, but to truly forgive someone, like, I just had to like sit with myself, because I think what humbled me the most was the fact that like, people have forgiven me, and that's on period. And that's a blessing in itself, for people to forgive the things that I've done to them. And I'm sure I've done some shitty ass things to people. Not that I think I have, and I wish someone would name them sometimes for me, but guys, you know I don't know the order of makeup. So I had to forgive. I had hard conversations. I was a little bit more open. Oh my gosh. My heart was an icebox, and I really had to melt it. I really, truly had to melt it. And that one, woo, I just learned that how jaded I was. Like, I was so jaded from just feeling like my kindness was being taken advantage of in certain relationships. And I just had this resentment towards people. I don't open up actually, I'm an open book, but I just feel scared to open up, kind of thing. I feel scared, and there's no reason for that kind of thing. Like, being vulnerable used to be my thing, you know? I used to be vulnerable left, right, and center, but it got to a point where I was just scared to do that. Like, I just didn't want to be hurt anymore, and that's kind of where the anger was sitting, just like not wanting to be hurt anymore. And so I had to tell myself, like, if I want to love again, to feel open to loving, I have to understand that vulnerability is part of those things. The hurt that I have felt in the past is not a indication on how somebody else will treat you. Guys, I'm really concentrating right now. Even now, just talking about this makes me a little anxious, but I just had to learn that. And I was just like, I'm open. I had this thing where I just didn't want to block my blessings. That's why I got out a lot of the relationships I was in. And I'm the one blocking my blessings now, because I'm not willing to open up. I'm not willing to do any of those things. So Worked on that. Am I 100% better? No. I think I've made a lot of progress in the last 8 months. I think I'm in a better place than I was. And I'm able to kind of sit back, relax, analyze what's going on, and make an informed decision. Before going into this, guys, I didn't have a backbone. It was always yes, yes, yes. I was a yes man. I was a yes ma'am. I was always optimistic. Ooh, this looks good. I'm going to sushi tonight. I was always optimistic. I thought everyone was my husband. And I wasn't even giving myself the I don't even call it. I wasn't even giving myself room to be picky. Like, I was just like, I have a lot going for me. I'm a well-educated, well-spoken, pretty woman, okay? Beautiful woman with a lot to offer. And I was just like, yes, let's do this. Let's try this. Da, 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 da. And I got tired of doing that, basically. So that is something that I have really improved on during this dating hiatus. That's the greatest thing. So moving forward, now that I have challenged myself and I have completed that challenge, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with myself? So I really thought about this. I mean, the time has come and it has passed, and I'm very content right where I am. I really am. I am in no rush to get on the apps. I'm in no rush to meet anyone new. Like, I'm really chilling, and it feels great because I think I was talking to my best friend about this. I think there's this idea that, like, I'd rather be with somebody than be alone. And that's horrible. Like, I'm the opposite now. Like, honestly, I'd rather be by myself than be with the wrong person because it's a waste of time. It's truly a waste of time with that mentality. Why be with someone? You're just blocking your own blessings. Like, now you have a whole physical person blocking blessings. And I'm not about that life. So I'm still continuing to let go, let God, and pray about it. My mom always told me, you need to pray for the things that you want, so God knows to bring that. And what I pray for is things that I think I very much enjoy in a person, personality-wise, aesthetic-wise, whatever. And I also pray that he prepares me for that person, because I'm still a work in progress. Like, as much as I would love to be in a relationship, oh man, I hate when that happens. I understand that, I don't think I'm gonna do the under eye. I understand that I still have a lot of growing to do. I have a lot of, where's my highlight? Just a lot of nuances to me, or a lot to learn about a lot left to learn about me, and how do I articulate that to somebody? Because it's like, oh, you want people to learn about you. Yeah, fine, great. But I also was not in a place where I could be like, well, I really like this, and I would prefer if you tried doing it like this way. And so I still want to work on that confidence in a relationship, because I still have this like thing where I just feel scared. Like, I don't want to say the wrong thing, or I don't want to upset someone, but I also then put myself second. And I don't like that. I don't like putting myself second. I don't want to be in something where it's just that person's relationship. I really do want the hard times. I'd rather have, hard times with you than good times with someone else. I'd rather be beside you in the storm and safe and warm by myself. I don't even know the rest of the song, but you know that song. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. Like, yes, I want the rainbows and the unicorns of somebody, but I also just really want those hard times where we can have an argument and then it's not the end of the world. And I don't have to be scared that it's the end of the world. Like, we just had a disagreement. Okay. And what's next? Are we going to agree to disagree? Are we going to compromise? Or are you going to say, I'm right? Because I probably am. So that's kind of what I want. I want to be able to also accept someone for everything that they are. I wouldn't say judgmental, but I just also wasn't accepting of other people's lies. Like, you want someone compatible with you. This lip's going to look good. You want someone compatible with you, as you also have to understand that, like, not everyone is going to be in the same lane as you. They're not going to grow up the same way. They're going to have nuances. They're going to have different opinions. Ooh, that one was hard to come to terms with. But you have to have a backbone on what is a red flag, an orange flag, and a yellow flag. I have 3 colors because red is like, my guy, you've got to go. Orange is like, this could become problematic. Let's see where this goes. And yellow is like, okay, I recognize that, like, I might not agree fully, but like your opinion like makes sense and so does mine. So we're going to have to just, okay, we'll see. Maybe there's some convincing here that we can do, you know? That's kind of how I organize things, because I also have to think about, am I willing to live with this person and to let them into my space? That's a huge one. If I'm allowing you into my space, I must like you. I must really like you, because I don't do that very often. I don't allow a lot of people into my space because I'm protecting my energy. I didn't know if I was going to finish this makeup, to be honest. I was really just talking. So moving forward, I'm chilling. I'm a little bit more open to talking to people and just getting to know people and not rushing into any type of relationship. That was always my biggest thing. I was just rushing. So yeah, but again, I still want it to be in a very organic way. So if I meet you during Corona, I meet you during Corona. If I don't, then I don't. God's time is the best time. So I'm not tripping. So that was basically my story about my 8-month dating hiatus. And yeah, if you guys have questions about that, if you guys want to know more, please just let me know, to be honest. Like, I feel like I detailed my entire life out here in these streets on this little YouTube thing, but I could be wrong. So let me know if you have any questions about dating hiatuses, if you're thinking about going on, if you've gone on one, what was your experience? Just let me know. But thanks for joining me. Bye.